Gentlemen, you are watching the Potsy and Tino show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings you as tag team champions of the world. That's right, the road dog who is incognito at the moment, and the badass Rob Potsy Ponchak. That's me. The Potsy and Tino show. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. Also, want to go ahead and thank Roderick Strong for that nice intro. What did you just say?
You said our team song, and I said 99. I was just throwing in stuff. I didn't know if you heard that crash while the thing was going off because I damn near got concussed because shit
Is
fell
that
off.
the new ice maker?
Well, the ice maker was good, and I went to go get my crown off the top of the fridge, and Matthew has one of those plastic containers of goldfish, and so I must have knocked that down. That thing hit me in the head as it fell on the floor. So yeah, and I was like, oh fuck! And that all that time he's like, Tino! And it was perfect timing because the thing fell and hit the floor and it crashed. And he said, Tino! Like I was interrupting him, so it was awesome.
No, so while all that was on, I couldn't hear anything except for Roderick Strong. But let's go ahead and lift one up for Tino. Surviving that.
Oh, I survived some shit. I mean, I already told you I'm still in a pissy mood, but I'm like, I'll tell you about it. And then what's up with you?
All right. Well, you know what? We're getting ready to start the What's Up with You. But, folks, we got something special out there for tonight. We have somebody that was live in the audience of Stand and Deliver and both nights of WrestleMania. He's going to talk about it a little bit, but he's really here to talk about the same thing that I want to talk about, which we'll get to. But let's bring on our boy Veezy.
Veezy!
I don't know if you guys follow him on. I don't know if you follow him on TikTok or what are you on now, man?
He's on everything, man. I follow him. Oh, you got no sound, bro. Where's your sound?
My bad. Here I go.
He ain't professional.
You got me?
Yeah. No, he's damn near.
My bad.
I follow him on everything.
I was saying right now, the only thing that's active is my YouTube. So it's just only one Veezy. People always ask.
What are you doing on the YouTube now?
So I literally just right now it's just college football 25 content, which is really just my online dynasty. I had a vision because that game really got me that channel up and going because I was so excited, in the rollout of it. But as creative, you understand, like it comes and goes for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. I'm a Leo. It's hard for me to commit, and it is what it is, right? So I just have it out there, like this open book of all these games that I've archived. Some really good classic games, by the way, Rod. I'm telling you.
Oh wow, I gotta check that out.
Michael Turner mentioned the goldfish attack, by the way, that
I
Tino
missed.
had to deal with. That Tino had to deal with to get on the show tonight.
I missed him on TikTok, man.
I know you are, by the way, Mr. Veezy. So I will probably slip up and call you by your given name. But how long have the two of us known each other?
We go back 2006.
2007,
07, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And Tino, I talk about it a lot. Veezy here was one of the few people that actually came and visited me in the hospital when I went through quadruple bypass surgery, and it literally meant so much to me that like if I ever decide to have kids, even though after what I saw off air, that's probably not ever happening. Like my kid's probably going to have an SHA or something in their name if I ever decide to have kids because of how close I feel Shavar and I are. But VZ, like like you know your family, and
No doubt.
you ever need anything, you know to either let myself or heck even Tino, like you guys have known hell, you two have probably known each other for 10 years now.
Yeah, at least.
That'd have been,
Yeah,
at least.
at
Yeah.
least that. Yeah,
I
because
mean
it was
because
somebody.
you
I
both
think
knew my
we.
racist dog.
It
That
was.
motherfucker. That motherfucker.
I think it was.
You know Artie.
Yeah, I
And
do.
my dog, my dog Artie, before he passed, like both of you, like you'd come up to the door, you'd knock on the door, you'd ring the doorbell, the dog, roar, 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 roar. I'd open up the door, roar, 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 roar. You'd sit there and be like, yeah, whatever. You'd walk in, and he just keeps taking steps back, and then you'd sit on the couch. All of a sudden, before you know it, you're sitting there petting the dog, and then he'd look at you guys, and you'd both be like, he'd look at you, and he'd be like, roar, 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 roar.
I remember when you
Crazy
had
ass
your
dog.
house. Damn right. You had your house, you had that fence, and he would run up to the fence and bark at him like, I'm not going in that fence. I'm not going in that fence.
That dog. So it was a 4 foot. It was a 3-foot fence because you get a 4-foot fence, and that dog could jump 5 feet in the air. He would literally jump 5 feet. He would. So welcome, VZ. You are a friend of the show. You are always welcome. You know that. So Tino, why don't you go ahead and ask him the questions that you want to know? That is what he's been up to that we were not able to participate in.
Yeah, dude. First of all, I want to say I miss your your TikToks. I used to follow you when you're talking about getting cars. I'm like, I'm gonna go see Beasley, and you would tell your
Yeah.
stories. I just sit there and watch your lives just to watch you tell stories and laugh at you because it was very highly entertaining. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, watching Shabar. She goes, "Uh oh." So, 'cause I
I'll
would
be
just be
back,
there
man. It
giggling,
comes and
man.
goes. I'll be back. Yes, sir.
It's just your stories, man. Your stories used to have me crying, and then like I said, just listening to you, and then watching your when you have on you and your I guess you had another podcast with you and a couple of your boys just talking about life in general. I sit back and
Yeah,
watch it. So I do miss those, man. So yeah, you get back on that, man. That was good. It was
no
entertaining.
doubt.
I would
No
usually be an
doubt.
audience watching. I would never say nothing, but I'll be watching. But
Yes,
yeah, I
sir.
just want to know what's up with the WrestleMania. Like I said, I know you dropped a couple bags. So how did you enjoy it? What were your thoughts on being there live? And what did you enjoy most? And did you get to do any like the WWE, like the Superstore, or go to any of those WWE meet and greets or anything, or did you just go to the shows?
Man, I feel like
We
he's at
just
a
did.
rave right now with what's going
Yeah,
on in his.
Oh,
right.
yeah, I got the dual hockey game and the basketball side by side. Um, but nah, man, it's because I went to Philly for 40, and so I still feel high from Philly. It was crazy,
And your first
and
one though,
so
your first one though was 25, right?
25, yeah, in Houston, yeah, and that was amazing because I kind of look at it like I really feel like I witnessed history. I saw what I think is the best Mania match ever in HBK and Taker, the first one. Then I got to see that amazing, Cody finishing the story, the bloodline thing kind of coming to a head. That was just awesome, even though we were uncomfortable as hell in that stadium. Um, it was cold as hell. And then to me, I felt like this past 41, I think the internet, what Triple H says, the internet isn't real and all that. Like to me, bro, I was there. Like, I feel like what was it, 15 matches, 16 matches, whatever it was. I can legitimately say 6 or 7 were bangers,
Hmm.
like legit bangers, right? 3 or 4 were like, this is an obvious WrestleMania moment, WrestleMania match, right?
Hmm.
And then yeah, you're gonna have your fillers, right? Or your fluff, so to speak. Like I feel like I don't know, we're gonna talk about it later, but that TLC match should have been what was on the card for
Yes,
WrestleMania as
yes.
opposed. I mean, what are we doing?
It would have overshadowed every other match without a
Oh
doubt.
my
And
God.
I gotta ask you though, when we're talking about you at the two WrestleManias, the 2 nights of WrestleMania, let me ask specifically: if you had told me that night 2 was happening after night 1, so night 1's main event ended the show, would it have been a better experience?
Yes, yes. And the thing about it, we were talking about this, and like it was us and these crazy guys from the UK who got super drunk the first night and then tamed themselves the second night. And we were talking about how, like, what it has become is we really all kind of felt like we paid our money for those main events.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like that TKO influence, where it's like when we watch the big fight, if we ever order a big fight, it's for what? The main event,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of what it felt like. We knew that, yeah, the stories were whatever, yada yada yada, and some of the matches, I guess the intrigue it swelled up as we got closer to Mania, but we were in so much anticipation of that triple threat in night one. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, that was it. You know what I mean? We knew something historic was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Well, then we're gonna break down the entire night to what I call the debacle, if you will.
But before we do that, I want to get I almost said Shavar. I'm gonna get Beezy's take on it too. Rob and I talked about it last week. We felt that night one was fire. We thought the night one was better than night two, in our opinion. Now, you being there, which night did you, or did you think? Did you agree, or what was your thoughts on it?
See, me and my boy Lurch, who y'all met at the crib, we felt like night two overall was better, right?
Mm-hmm.
To us, it just felt more like, I mean, they set it off with that triple threat. Like, my God,
Right.
like, I mean, it was just like, and then, Fatu and LA, I mean, it was just like, man, like, so the first three matches were absolute bangers on night two.
Yeah.
And to me, what I felt like, I know we'll get into it, I don't want to step on later on, but the air that left the stadium at the conclusion of Cena and Cody. And it felt like little kids who our dad said he was going to the store to get some milk and he never came back.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're also saying that it's true. Huh? I got you.
Woo!
Night one didn't
That's
have.
what it felt like,
just
Rob.
fired.
We were all like sitting there. Remember the Fresh Prince finale when he was in the mansion looking around? Like, that's what it felt like, because we just knew that The Rock's music was going to hit. Even after we saw the Paul Levesque credit thing come up there, we thought about CM Punk at the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And we were like, his music is going to hit.
We're just going to do it. We'll go back to What's Up With You right afterwards.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
you're good. No, you're good.
What you're saying makes sense. And you're saying that it reminds you of that. I want to bring up, and Shavar, you were probably in the audience, so you probably didn't even hear it. But when the pre-show was talking about what they were anticipating, what they were hoping for, Big E sat there and said, "I can't wait to see The Rock show up," which meant to me that nobody backstage had told them not to mention him, had told them he's not coming, had told them anything, which meant to me, and I will start up straight the conversation with this. Paul Levesque was under the impression that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was showing up. And when about an hour and a half or 2 hours before the show, he didn't show up, he was like, well, let's try to make chicken salad out of this chicken shit then. Because it to me was the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen in professional wrestling, based on leading up to the event you anticipated seeing him. And nothing, his entire social media, a guy who has 250 million followers sitting there not even saying, hey, I'm stuck in Maui, I'm not going to be there. Which, by the way, could have worked counterproductive, could have made everybody go, oh, he's definitely showing up. Except for the fact that this is the same guy that when he needed to be there for WrestleMania 28 and 29, he would get on a plane at 5 o'clock in the morning after being at the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he would get there, he'd be on time, he'd run his promo, and then he would get out and be back over in like Malaysia or something filming a fucking movie. And now suddenly, oh, I just didn't want to be there. I didn't think that I needed to be there to mess with the story.
In fairness, and this isn't to be fair to The Rock, but in fairness to that last statement, he wasn't 250 million follower Rock. He wasn't biggest star in the world, bar none Rock, right? And that's not to let him off the hook. And I've seen versions of your theory online, but I'll be honest, my opinion, I think they knew for a good while he wasn't going to be there. When I look at what he had to say and how he framed everything on the McAfee show, it felt to me like something went awry in creative, that they had a disagreement. When I say they, I mean the Rock side versus Paul side, whatever. And I feel like the Rock was petty enough to say, you know what? F it. We'll see how y'all do without my presence at all. I think that, and maybe it came down to a direction he wanted things to go, would have preferred things to go. Hence him saying something like, I would have finessed things differently, or I would have done that on the show.
Except the finessing and doing the things a little differently would have been because he would have fucking been there.
I'm with you.
And on top of that, yes, I understand. Sometimes you don't agree, but you know what? You show up so that way you can work it out. And that way on the show, something actually happens. Because I'll tell you this, there is a person that was involved with all of this that had other obligations and whatever, that probably still would have made an extra appearance on SmackDown had he known that Dwayne wasn't going to show up, and that's John Cena. Because John Cena has always done what's best for business. So the idea that like they didn't know, no, I don't buy that. I think that he was like, maybe I show, maybe I don't. We'll see how I feel that day. And Paul Levesque, who's been the company man for the last 20 fucking years, is sitting there going, he's throwing me under the bus. Because that's what he did. Triple H got thrown under the bus.
I think that would have come out by now. I
think it's starting to. I mean, when you see people like Jonathan Coachman coming out saying, "Hey, you know, I've talked to Brian Gewirtz in the past. I've talked to this guy. I've talked to this guy." Like you can't tell me that Brian Gewirtz, the right hand man to The Rock, wouldn't have had something to write that would have at least made it make sense and would have gotten him in the door. He literally just tanked the main event for the same reason that like Hulk Hogan would no-show shows when he was with WCW.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tino?
I think it's part of it too, and I agree with Rob. I think it's petty, something to do with Triple H. I don't know if I sent it to you, Rob, about the Triple H got in the ring and he was making it known.
What man makes the decisions?
Yeah, he said that, that you just, I don't care what chair you sit in, it doesn't matter. And he was doing all these little like pebbles at The Rock, trying to say The Rock, The Rock's trying to big dog it. The Rock's trying to big brother and be like Rob saying, you're nothing without me, and we're going to see how you can do without me. I think he got on that board, and I think that his ego got away from him. He thinks he's bigger than the business right now, right? So he thinks if he doesn't show up, he thinks that he made this Cody Rhodes thing big, right? Because he came in, remember, because it was going to be him and Roman, and then the universe said no. So then he's like, all right. He made it look like that we're listening to what you want to listen to. No, he knew nobody wanted to see that bullshit, right? So he's trying to make it look like he's doing all of this for the WWE, and he's not. It's like he's got an ulterior motive for everything he does now.
And I got to point out too that if the WWE knew that he was going to show up on Pat McAfee on Tuesday, They would have advertised that shit. There wasn't a single word about their board of directors trustee being on the Pat McAfee show until about 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning when they announced that he'd be on at 12:15. Now, this was also...
Does he have any kind of creative control, though, right? So who...
Well,
it's the board over Triple H or Triple H over the board. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's the Rock Triple H's boss.
The board is definitely number one. And by the way, every conversation behind the scenes that Triple H has had when it comes to the Rock's creative is the Rock shows up, we work him into the show. And it's because he gets creative control. He owns all of the Rock name, likeness, everything else too at this point. So I mean, like, if he just wants to show up on AEW, even though he's a board of directors for TKO, he probably could. He doesn't have a worker's contract like everybody else. Hell, Triple H still has a worker's contract at WWE. But when you pay someone $30 million in January, and the only thing he says is, oh, it was to help ticket sales at Elimination Chamber in Toronto, fuck you. That's garbage. And you know what it is? And more than anything else, it's because his ego can't accept the fact that he's getting booed.
Yeah.
And he would have had to do the favors to Cody, even if Cody's going to lose this match at Mania. He's going to have to sit there and take the L before Cody lays down. And the reason why he doesn't want to do it is because if you look at like his record, the last match he's in currently, if he retires, goes away, and everything else, the last match that he ever has is he pinned Cody Rhodes the night before Cody Rhodes became the undisputed champion. So he gets to sit there, ride out into the sunset as the guy that beat him before John Cena did. And I can't stand it, man. It's making me not like him. And I've always stood up for him because I've always been like, you can tell when he talks about his family that he always talks about his love for pro wrestling. Every time he comes out, he sits there, shows the, you know, the goosebumps and everything. But this bullshit is literally Hulk Hogan. And we all know how much of a lying sack of shit he is at this point.
He believes his own hype. He believes his own press, right? So, like I said, that's why I said I think right now he thinks he's bigger than the business.
Man, sitting there for The Rock to and sorry, VZ, I'll let you speak on it, but seeing him sit there and have to come out 2 days after WrestleMania to then explain that he didn't have to be there. Are you kidding? You literally hijacked Elimination Chamber. Were there to be the catalyst to the John Cena heel turn.
You sold his soul to you, but then where are you?
And then when we get to WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, where the payoff is supposed to, the juice is the squeeze, we're sitting there going, where the fuck is he? And we're not the only ones sitting there saying, where the fuck is he? The fucking WWE Universe and all of their staff are wondering, where the fuck is he? And I'm sorry, like Stone Cold Steve Austin probably got them a lawsuit and he showed up. still thinks a bullshit lawsuit too, but I'm at the point where I look at it and I go, he was better than that. He understood the business. He put people over. Hell, 10 matches against Stone Cold Steve Austin, only won one.
I'm gonna be honest with you though, man. The more I sit here and analyze this shit, we gotta. So here's the thing: the whole that him showing up for McAfee show, that definitely was an impromptu thing because they definitely would have glazed the shit out of that had he been planning to be there.
Hold on. But also his statement to Dave LaGreca from and Tino hates when I bring up Busted Open, except he actually did say the entire business is a work,
is a work.
and will always be a work. And this was
So
after he tried to tell everybody that everything that he was doing wasn't a work on the McAfee
so
show.
so stay with me. So I do think it's as simple as him showing up on McAfee was damage control. Now, who prompted it, whether it was him and his ego that said, I got to get on here and address it, whether it was him and whatever the dude name is that he said called him up before Elimination Chamber because
Sorry,
they saw the rumblings. Emmanuel, right. They saw the rumblings online. Reddit is loud. We got to address why you weren't there, whatever, even if they made up some shit. Now, here's the thing we got to remember. I think an underrated thing that nobody is talking about right now is the fact that this show on Netflix is coming out in June called WWE Unreal.
Mhm.
And this is going to be our first time as lifelong fans of the art to see. Now, I know they're not going to let us in the booking room, but to see storylines come together and all that, we would have never imagined while Vince McMahon was roaming around there that we would even see something like this. I really think that a big percentage of this is drama that's going to help the viewership of that show because they're filming right now. Who knows when they started filming it and what from the archives that they're going to include in this show. And I think and it may sound crazy, but we are talking about the WWE here. And to your point about what he just said about what he said to Greco about the Greco about the work thing. I think an element of this, yes, there's truth to their rivalry, him and Paul Levesque, whatever. But I think an element of this is to make that show interesting and what they're letting us actually see on the road to WrestleMania and now the immediate aftermath of WrestleMania.
Mm.
They're still going to be shooting this through the month of May if this thing is coming out in June for sure.
I mean, it could already be filmed. It could have been something they were filming back in SummerSlam. We don't
Right.
know.
Right.
But again, for him to sit there, you say damage control, and yet people like and oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to bring this name up. Vince Russo, who apparently does a podcast with Jonathan Coachman now. Coach is the one that sat there and said, this literally is Triple H versus The Rock. And it's creative, and it's the guy that's in control of the product right now is being thrown under the bus by the guy that has the face of the board. And it happens a lot in corporate America. So it's not hard to believe that that's literally what's happening. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, and by the way, ever since Triple H took over creative at this new TKO branded WWE, there's always been talk that he was a Vince guy, and because of that, he's out in 6 months. He made it 6 months. The company, pardon me, the company is at a high point, so you can't get rid of him right now. But as soon as it starts hitting a low, which, by the way, if show an event as the catalyst of something, and business starts to slack because of it, who's the first guy they're going to get rid of?
Oh, Triple H is gone.
The millionaire that is running the overall show, right? So, and literally, this is what happens in Hollywood. It happens in corporate America. It happens everywhere. The idea that like this isn't a possibility, and by the way, the work side of it, what you're talking about, I get it. Except this doesn't look like work side. This literally looks like Triple H was left handed nothing. And he had to put on the main event for the biggest show of the fucking year. And the other guy just went, I don't need to show up. Doesn't matter that they paid me $30 million in January. Doesn't matter that they gave me $2.4 million in reimbursed flights. Doesn't matter that they compensated me another $900,000 during the month of February. Doesn't matter about any of that. Fact is I'm on the board. I'm not a contracted wrestler, so I show up when I want to show up. And that's the attitude that he's even displayed when he was on McAfee. And when he did this La Greca thing, like he doesn't want to be booed. Look at the night that he was at NXT when he sat there And they were like, yeah, this is where I want to be. The other night, I showed up because they needed ticket sales for Netflix. But the next night, this is where I wanted to be. Really? Really? Because while I agree that that's where you want to be so that you can show your face to all those people trying to be the next you, you're literally sitting there going out, and the first thing you did was bitch and moan about Dave LaGreca again. Like, and it's something where you like.
So let me ask you: Are we? Is this pretty much as simple as we're witnessing the downfall of the Rock character? Like you know how certain Hogan was my hero as a child, right? Like, I mean, couldn't tell me shit about Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
And then I was in high school as a rebellious, teenager when he turned black and white,
Yep.
right? And it was perfect. He matured, his character matured with me,
Yep.
right?
They grew up.
Then
Right?
he came, right? Then he came back to WWE. All of a sudden, I was back down with the red and yellow. You know what I mean? Like after the him and Rock showdown and all that, right?
Yeah.
But
People
then
still talk
at a
about, by the
certain
way, people
Hold
still
on.
talk about. Sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but they still talk about how that WrestleMania match against The Rock, he hijacked that. And that's what led to them having
unintentionally though.
What's that?
Unintentionally though.
No. He sat there when The Rock wanted him to show up in Miami and actually like go over the match. He said, "Brother, I've never done that before." And then all of a sudden he shows up at WrestleMania. He notices that Toronto's sitting there being 50-50, and he's like, "Oh, I can own this crowd."
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, that definitely happened. They talk about it all the time. I'm not revisionist history on that stuff, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes him one of the GOATs, though, right? He did what he was supposed to do as far as with what the crowd.
He knew
listened to
how
the
to draw
crowd.
money.
No doubt. But where I was going was that now he's shit to me, right? Hulk Hogan, right? And not just because of the tape that leaked. Like, I just think he's a liar, and he's not the guy that I thought he was, right?
So he
And
never
I'm
tried to
saying
be the
that
bassist for Metallica.
huh?
So he never tried to be the bassist of Metallica.
Right. Like, listen, man, like this dude. So I feel like we are witnessing, I think, the Rock's ego, man. I think what has happened is okay, let me ask y'all this. And objectively, what percentage do you think, or what are the odds of this being majority of work?
So before I get to that, I'll say this. The Rock knows that he's the number one personality in Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got what, 600 million followers on Instagram now?
So ridiculous.
Like he's like number 3 behind like Cristiano Ronaldo and
Beyonce probably. Yeah.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
And I have to assume him not showing up at WrestleMania meant people stopped following him. And then other people who were sitting there saying that was a bullshit thing that he did, listened to them because he was incognito, and all of a sudden they stopped following him because of that. His overall image took a hit. And his character being the final boss, being the bad guy, he didn't realize the global influence that WWE has right now. So he's trying to promote Moana 2, and it doesn't do as well as he was hoping. Well, why is that? Maybe it's because Maui's a bad guy right now. Maybe it's because this character's a bad guy. Maybe it's, like the number one thing that I heard that made people go, I'm so upset about this, was that because Black Adam was a flop as a movie, The Rock came back to wrestling. And if Black Adam hadn't been a flop, we wouldn't even be dealing with this bullshit. I'm not saying he wouldn't be part of the board of directors, but we would have never had to see him show up except for at the Netflix launch when he shows up and he hands the Ulafala to Roman Reigns, when he sits there and shakes Cody Rhodes' hand. He would have never had to talk shit about Mama Rhodes or anything like that. Black Adam had done $700 million at the box office. He'd have a sequel. Like, so I'm sorry, I feel like I'm hijacking the conversation. I just, yeah, thanks. Tino. Thanks. I'm filibustering too, by the way. But I really do feel like his ego, like you said, Shabar, has gotten out of control. But his publicists, the Garcias, everybody else that's in charge of his everyday business, is probably sitting there saying that him showing up at WrestleMania might not have been good for his Dwayne Johnson character versus his The Rock character.
You know, I feel like it's, again, I know you guys, I mean, if you ain't like me, I've seen a dozen plus different takes on this whole thing. I think it's literally just, to us as wrestling fans, it's incomprehensible that this dude didn't show up.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that it again, it made me, I was a mixture of angry, disappointed, and like, again, like let down. Like,
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna see The Rock. I knew I was gonna, if you smell, I just knew it. And then, Rob, I mentioned this to you on the phone earlier this week. They were selling uh what was it?
Finally, he's come back to Vegas.
He's come back to Vegas. T-shirts as WWE official shit.
No.
Yes, people were walking around with the shirt,
That shit
bro.
was printed in February.
Damn.
Like, so
Damn.
I'm like, damn, like, and then like you said, the mention of what Biggie said I heard it on the joint. I was standing out there when they were talking on the pre-show. Like, yes, it throws you off, and you just knew. So when we heard the Travis Scott shit, we were like, I said, surely he's gonna come out, do his rah-rah stuff, and then his music is gonna cut out, and everything is gonna
Yeah.
go black, and we're gonna see electricity, and the things are gonna come down that Roman Reigns walked through, and we're gonna see The Rock.
Yep.
And then, by the way, we already had got let down because when we heard the glass break, it was just for Austin to come out and let us know how many people were in the building.
Not even a stunner. He could have given that woman in the audience a stunner.
Well, what I knew was when I watched him roaming around during the Hall of Fame shit, and then when I watched him, I like, first of all, he's not gonna walk all the way down that ramp. That's first of all. How they fix that? ATV. Second of all, I said he ain't right, and I'm looking at his gait. He didn't even get up on the second rope to do his beard thing. He didn't even get up on the second rope.
Was he hurt?
He's still recovering from knee surgery. So there
you
is
go.
that. But I also think, I'm going to say right now, I think Austin was drinking backstage for night 2. And here's why I say that. Because there's video of him taking that ATV where he's supposed to go up that side ramp so that he can make that right and go down. And he missed it. And he went to the right and he went right into the wall. And then had to back the thing up to then go up the ramp to then go down the ramp.
Well, Rob, for him to sit there and say, let's do a recount and count 1 through 20, literally, maybe he was a little tipsy because
he did. I'm like, is this motherfucker really count? He said, hey, got the 20. I'm like,
did
this
he get
bitch.
the 20? I thought he got the 10.
No, that bitch got the 20. He got the 20.
He got the 20. I was like, what's he doing? Yeah.
Makes me wonder if the camera guy was sitting there saying, you got like 3 more minutes or whatever. You know,
no.
you got 3 more minutes. Good. And he's like, oh, this is bullshit.
I agree with Shavar. I think his ass was drunk.
I said he was drunk.
No, yeah, Rob said he was drunk. Yeah, he might have been, bro. He might have been.
I mean, well, you know, so at the Hall of Fame, you know that him and Bret Hart got their speeches cut to 2 minutes each. And McAfee was getting told, get off the stage when Steve was like, bring me out some beers. And he's like, I know.
Oh, really?
And you could hear him. He kept saying, I know. And he's like, but I'm still going to drink this beer with Steve Austin. He's like, I know. And then they finally went backstage. And what happened? Triple H went on for an hour and a fucking half. And I'm not saying it wasn't a good speech. It was a great speech. But how the fuck do you sit there and tell Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve
Yeah.
Austin, we want you to show
Yeah.
up at the Hall of Fame. We want you inducted by
Yeah.
CM Punk, and the three of the best talkers ever in the business, get a total of 6 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of
because they wanted Triple H to have that damn time.
yeah.
I think it's because of other obligations wanted that time. I think they were already like, it's 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. Because by the time Triple H went on the West Coast, it was 3 o'clock, or it was 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
Well, I'm gonna give a couple. I'm gonna just give a couple critiques on Mania.
Okay.
Well,
for the folks who yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, because I mean, like, we were either going to talk about this or I'll move it off the Rock situation. I'll move us back over to what's up with you, Shavar. You were there. VZ, go ahead, give everybody some.
So, it's like anything else. I mean, it's an awesome event. It's an awesome happening. I did not do the Superstore. I'll be honest, Tino, I feel like these prices are getting kind of crazy. These
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care.
$55 for
Yeah,
a Cactus Jack shirt, and Mick Foley
dude,
was only in the audience at the Hall of Fame.
dude. I thank God every day when I wake up. I know I'm blessed and all that and all of that. But I'm telling you something, this shit was not cheap. It's starting to feel like because when you really look at the prices, just look at them, and you see a clip of Randy Orton out there talking about it's embarrassing, like our prices, because the young lady stopped them in the lobby, and I think they spent like
$3,000,
30 grand or something for something's ridiculous, right?
For what?
And it's like because
Oh no, you're right. It was
I
30 grand for
it was
lower
30
bowl.
lower bowl. And honestly, so our NXT seats, so we were on the floor, so we're in the aisle behind the commentators, but to the right a little bit. We were on the floor in the third to back row. We couldn't see shit. Because when you're sitting there, now during the match, when you stand up, you can kind of see, but you're at a bad angle because for that show, they do the cutoff ramp. You can't see the entrances from that seat, right? So now I'm thinking about the people at Mania. Now, this is what I meant by the critiques about Mania live. They always have the big jumbotron above the ring with the four sides, whether it's already built into that arena stadium or they do
They
the
set it
one of
up,
their
yeah.
own. They don't show you the entrances live. They run the Titantron video or whatever on those screens. Oh my!
Say what?
We were Tino. So
So he
when you're
didn't see the
watching, so
walk
what
down.
y'all?
He saw the video package.
You see the video, so we can't really see the entrance good from those seats, and we had decent seats, man. You can't see that damn aisle. So we're literally pulling up Peacock on our phone with our AirPods in with a 45-second delay just to try to catch the ambiance of the entrance because you can't see it on the video. It it just and so again, it seems like something minor if you know what I mean, but like I'm like, this is
Pay
a
too much
big deal
money for
because I
that.
want the yes. I want the full experience. I want to see them in their full garb coming out live. So to have that taken away for you to run a Titan or whatever their Tron video on a loop, slap in the face.
Oh,
You know what I'm
damn.
saying? Slap in
That's
the
bull.
face. Not to mention where we were sitting. So again, if y'all remember watching the broadcast, where they if you're coming towards the ring, right? They have the big two screens up, right, on the other
Right.
side of the stadium. Well, where our seats were, we were in that bowl where we were covered up by that. So we couldn't even see looking like this, those other two screens. The big screen that was behind on top of the hotel or whatever, from our seats, we couldn't see that at all because of the lighting rig.
Oh, damn.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, they showed it on that screen, but nobody could see that shit unless you were on one of the angles where you're looking up diagonally.
Wow.
So again, it's just these little logistical things that it's like, man, all this money, y'all aren't paying attention to these little details. Like this matters, you know, and what they're charging now is just crazy.
It really is ridiculous because like obviously in like October I was telling you, hey, I'm down to go, and then all of a sudden my job situation changed and I wasn't able to. But it like we got a couple weeks, and then there's Smackdown in Greensboro, and it's like the one show that John Cena's not announced to be at. Like why am I going to spend the $150 or $200 for the John Cena farewell tour and not even get to see John Cena?
Yeah.
The only positive to that is that it makes me think that there is a possibility, because it's 6 days after his match against Randy Orton. It's possible that Randy Orton wins the match, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Woo!
Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you. Good.
Dang, I can't believe that though. So is that all 3 nights? You couldn't see
That
shit?
was with the 2 nights of Mania. Yeah, and then in NXT, yeah, the seats were solid. They were good, but you can't see the entrances with NXT with that one. And then the match, you just always felt like, again, sitting on that floor, I'd rather be at the next level back on the riser. You know what I mean? Like all day, every day.
Tino and I, every time we go to the shows now, I always want to be on the bleachers. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not
No.
getting front row,
Front
I don't
row,
even
right.
second row.
Yeah,
Because me being
yeah.
as short as I am, second row I can't see shit. And I'm
And on the flip side, me being as tall as I am, I feel like I'm blocking people behind me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's but all that being
I'd
said, again, it was
rather
an
pay
amazing show.
I'd rather pay the $20 to go to a DPW show or something that's right down at the Durham Convention Center, and you get to see all
Yeah.
these people that, I mean, hell, you saw it as we launched the show tonight. Roderick Strong was at one of these shows. I'd rather watch him put on a fucking clinic, sit in front row for $20 than pay the $400-$500 to go to like a WrestleMania at this point.
So how often
Yeah.
would you find yourself on your phone watching it on Peacock when you right there live? I can't get over that, man.
I know.
Damn.
I did it. I honestly tried to do it for every entrance. I really did. Like I couldn't believe it. And I was telling Rob, I think we were texting, and I was like, if you listen close during the opening match of night 1, my section, we were like, turn the screen on, because
Oh,
they didn't
damn.
even have those screens going when the match started. It took them like 3 minutes to get those rolling. So that's why you hear this loud cheer at some random spot during the early part of that match, because they finally got that going. But it's just it's just like, y'all got to tighten this kind of shit up. But of course, me and my wife, we trying to go to New Orleans next year. I'm telling you, y'all,
Oh,
let's do it.
Well,
Let's do it. I'm telling you.
I'm thinking I want to do NOLA because I've never been to NOLA. I know it's an expensive town, but I think the wrestling events will be
well. And here's the
better
thing: my wife and I, that was our last trip before the pandemic. We literally, when we came back on our flight, when we left, 20% of people were wearing masks. When we came back, 80% of people were wearing masks, and the world was shut
damn.
down. But I'm saying that to say, the Grand Hyatt where we stayed at, it was like brand new. It was built in 2020 or 2019. It's literally, you step outside, make a right, you literally can walk to the Superdome. It's right there in the parking lot. I mean, so you don't have to Uber anywhere. The arena where the New Orleans Pelicans play, if you're doing SmackDown and Raw, right there as well in the same parking lot.
I did see as WrestleMania let out that there was like a sea of people, and there was no way to go anywhere except walking outward.
Yes, I have pictures in my phone that I will send y'all. It was crazy.
So,
I literally picked my phone up and see a sea of people walk out, 60,000 people in one direction. It was crazy.
So Tino asked me last week, Shavari. He asked me, he's like, what is a day at Comic-Con like? And I said, have you ever waited in line for 3 hours to do nothing?
Mm.
And that's kind of what I felt like the exit of WrestleMania.
You know what helps out a lot?
Honestly,
You know what
there
helps out?
are days at Comic-Con where there'll be 60,000 people walking through. And if you're anywhere near Hall H when Marvel is doing a panel and it lets out, you basically are in a sea of people and you go whatever direction they're walking out. And that's it. You can't go the other direction at all.
I will say that the one thing that was cool about
Man, I want to be at
Vegas
that party.
was
It's
that
fun.
as look. I know, right? As you're walking through that sea, there was definitely a cloud of in the air. And so people were feeling real good. I will say that because you were walking to the Las Vegas Strip. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a pretty cool. But I do not like being around that many people at that tight quarters. I
It
do
was
not.
probably
Absolutely
the
not.
safest being off the strip has ever been.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, all right, guys,
Indeed.
we've talked about all that stuff a little bit. How about we finally find out what's been up with Tino, and then we try to jump into what our normal show is. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last week, like I was telling you, last week, I got my car. Oh, so Shavar, you had heard about my adventures in cars. So a couple weeks ago, I was coming back from Hayward from doing a gig in the Jeep. I got that Patriot. Um, Check engine light came on about 20 minutes from home. I'm like, well, I can make it. I was gonna make it AutoZone, put it on to see what see what's trip making it come on. I didn't think anything major. Then I started losing power. I'm like, oh damn. I pulled over. As soon as I pulled over, smoke came out from everywhere, right? So at some point, I don't realize that I raised the hood. There's antifreeze
Altitude kind of smoke.
everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck? The radiator hose clamp had come off.
Mm.
I didn't realize it. So it was just, that's
Yep.
all right. So me and my
Yep.
father-in-law, we got it towed. I said, maybe put the clamp on and put some fluid in it. I got the call the next day, blown the head gasket. And they said even if they replaced the head gasket, because it ran so hot for so long, it still would have. I had to get a new engine. That's a
Mm.
2014. That was a 2014 Patriot engine used. It's going to cost me about $5,800. And that's more than what a car's worth. I said I'm not doing it. So
I
I
can't
still
even
got my
believe
20.
that car is 11 years old. I can't
Yeah.
believe that Jeep's that old.
So then I had my. So I still. All right. So cool. I'm just going to sell it for parts. I still have my 2010 Dodge, my Dakota. Well, it just started making noises. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Right? The ball, the ball joint had gone bad. Well, you know that the ball joint is connected to the control arm, and you can't just replace one side. You got to replace both sides. Control arm,
Yep.
sway bar, tie rods, and it needed front brakes and pads. So that was $2,300. So now that's good. Started feeling sick Tuesday night. Wednesday, I'm like, I feel terrible. Took a COVID test, not COVID. Thursday, I'm like, dude, I can't even. It got to the point where I would be trying to talk and I would just break off into coughing fits. I'm like, what the hell? Last time that happened, it was bronchitis. I'm like, ah, fuck, I think I got bronchitis again. Went to the doctor. Nope, that was the flu. So I had the flu. So I'm
Mm.
getting over the flu now. So I'm like, man, the past 2 weeks
In
was
fucking
ass.
April.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the worst, bro.
Yeah,
Flu in
so
April. God.
yeah. So
I
still
mean,
it's
I
clearing
hate
up
getting those
now.
spring colds, but like I've never had spring flu. Never had spring flu.
Me neither, man.
Well, I would say I'll raise you, but I don't know if it's probably just as bad. But I had food poisoning and I had every symptom of the flu, including the temperature, and then it was coming out on both ends. Weak as all, man. That was the worst 3 days of my life. had some bad shrimp, and it was like 3 weeks before Mania, and I was like, I swear, that was God looking out for me, because if that would have happened, it would have been the worst weekend of my life. I wouldn't have made it. I'm
Yep.
telling you,
Yep.
it was.
Yep.
I lost weight. Okay, my skinny ass can't stand and lose no damn weight.
I was actually just getting ready to say the only good thing that happens when you get food poison is losing weight. Like,
Yeah,
No,
not to me.
like
the flu
Tino
too,
and I
man.
both
'cause
sitting there going, you know,
I'm
we really hated
stuffy.
having that food poisoning, but you know what? That 10 pounds we lost.
No, dude. No, the damn flu because I still kind of got stuffy. So then you can't smell or taste anything. Then you don't want to eat. So yeah, I lost weight doing that too
Yep.
because I doesn't
Well,
make
yeah,
I couldn't
in
taste
your
anything.
situation, I literally sit there and my favorite thing to eat when I feel like that is, and I hate it at the same time as much as I love it, but I go out and I get that chunky chicken and sausage gumbo
Uh-huh.
because
Mm,
that shit will just like make
Clear you out.
your nose run, everything, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
just sit. But the problem is when you're already sick, you just sweat.
Yeah.
So it's
It's the
like
worst.
okay, I'm gonna eat this gumbo, but I'm gonna have like a gallon of water next to me so I can drink that too. So Tino, what else has been going on with you, man?
That's about it. Trying to get over this flu because we were playing at was it Brass Tap in Raleigh, my first gig there ever. So I was like, dude, I can't be sick and have to call out on this. So we play there, and I'm kind of excited next Tuesday going to see Lincoln Park. So gonna go check that
The
out.
new Lincoln Park.
The new Lincoln Park. I don't know how I feel about that, man. It's gonna,
Well, you can let us know. Try to grab at least one song on the phone so that way I
yeah.
can actually like hear them live because anybody can sound good in the studio.
Yeah, but they got the girl on there now, so I'm trying to think, because
Well,
Chester, that was my dude. So I'm waiting to see what she's gonna do. She sounds good on like you said in the studio. I want to see how
that's
she does it live.
that's why I'm saying make sure that you record one song on the phone so that way I can even hear it and know what's going
Yeah,
on with that. So that's what's
that's
going
about
on
it.
with you.
That's about it. Still trying to get over it. Like I said, still stuffy a little bit. Trying to get rid of the rest of it.
All right. Well, I want to remind everybody that you can nominate Zor for Best Kids Book at the Ringo Awards. I am still trying to get my first Ringo Award. I am trying to sit there and be a legitimate comic book writer. So if you can go out there and actually like vote for Zor for Best Kids Book, that'd be great. Right now it's to nominate it so that it gets on the nominations list and people actually have to vote for it. So you'll hear me talking about this for another couple months, but until June 19th, which is my dad's birthday, you
It's my
can nominate
anniversary.
Zor to be Best Kids Book. The reason why I bring this up as well is because this Saturday is Free Comic Book Day. So all across the country, every comic book store that participates has a sign in their window right now that says, "We participate in Free Comic Book Day." And I will be signing copies of the Zor issue. Basically, it's the Keen Spot Toy Box Edition is what we're calling it. There's a 3-page Zor story in there. I will have copies of Zor 1, 2, and 3. I'll have some junior high horrors books. I'll have all 3 issues of Died Hard with me. Anything that you guys haven't been able to get, but I'll be at Triangle Town Center this Saturday from basically 10 until whenever they close or whenever they say that their event's over. I think it's 10 to 4, 10 to 5. But I will be there. I'll be signing all those books. But specifically, you can get a free comic book signed by me because while supplies last, I will be signing copies of the Keen Spot Toy Box where there is a 3-page Zor story in there. It's actually a very fun 3-page story. Tino, I told you all about it. It's got 4 of my favorite characters in it that I'm not going to say here because I want people to pick up the 3-page story. But on top of that, got the almost finalized copy of Dreadmutt #1 from my buddy Junior, who announced to me yesterday that he will be joining me at Heroes Con in Charlotte from June 20th through June 22nd. So both creators of Dreadmutt will be in Charlotte. So he's coming all the way down from Tennessee to be part of that. so that we can actually sign the first issue of Dreadmutt at that show. Other than that, not it. Shavar, you see Tino right there in the middle?
I see it. Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
pretty dope.
I asked Michael to draw something that was like the opposite of Mario, so he drew a black Luigi, pretty much, and I liked it so much that I sat there and I was showing Tino the issue, and he goes, "I'm in the book," and I was like, "What do you think?" I was like, and then I looked at it and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I asked Michael to change the name of the character. I don't even remember what he was going to be called, but I was like, yeah, let's change the name of the character to Tino. So his plumber van and everything is Tino's plumbing.
That's dope.
And
that's
so
dope.
Tino
that's the most wholesome shit I've heard all day.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I'm so excited.
That's dope.
Yeah. He does not show up in the 3-page story for free. Because if he did, I would try to get him out there to sign books with me.
Oh, I'd be there too. I think
Shavar's lights finally went out.
He didn't pay his bill.
I mean, those raves are kind of expensive. The other thing that I am going to mention, Tino, like we've been sitting here and I've been like moving this thing around for a little while. For those that don't know, the Fayetteville Marksmen are a minor league hockey team in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and they had a Mick Foley night, and the Mick Foley night included them doing special, I'll say, sweaters instead of jerseys because I don't want any hockey fan to get mad at me about it, but they had special sweaters that were flannel and black with the yellow Marksman logo in the center instead of the Cactus Jack logo. And they were full like jerseys, sweaters, whatever you want to call them. But they also had this, which was a custom made Fayetteville Marksman championship belt. And when I saw it available for sale this past week, and mine is missing one of the fake diamonds right here. Like because it's a big Foley belt. You don't want it to have everything.
That's
you want it missing a little bit, right? So it's missing one of the. I'm looking to see if it's missing any other ones. It's missing one of the studs right there. So just like a tooth missing. But when I saw it available for the price that it was, I was like, I have to get one because you and I, Tino, we've been talking about getting a custom made belt forever. So now I have a custom belt, but we're still going to get one for the show at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for a 10-year anniversary at this point. I don't know. But anyways, gentlemen, that's really all that's been going on with me. So, Tino, we also talk about what. Oh, Shavar's got Veezy, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was my wife calling. I'm on daddy duty. She's away for work in the mountains for all week, so I got to get to this 3-year-old. I did want to say that I turned it off because I didn't want to see any more spoilers, but the opening segment.
Don't talk spoilers.
Let me just. I won't say anything. Other than this, the faction looks good. That's all I'll say.
I can't wait.
The faction looks good.
I was only going to ask you for one other moment if you think you can do it.
Yeah.
We can jump back to everything else after this.
That's cool. That's cool.
Folks, if you did not see Friday Night Smackdown, if for nothing else, and by the way, it was a stellar episode of the entire show. We're gonna break it down, but it was like I sent Tino a message at 11:05 that said that was incredible, and Tino sent something back to me at 12:41 in the fucking morning that said, Holy shit, you were right.
Yeah, because I started watching it late because you was like, that was awesome. I said, just started it. And so I watched it and I was like, oh shit. When that motherfucker took that damn prosthetic leg, I
Oh,
think that was my favorite.
so did you see what Montez Ford actually said about this prosthetic leg?
Uh-uh.
On Twitter today, I saw the post and it said he gave us a leg up on the competition.
That shit's hilarious. Because
See
I think I
what?
sent you the TikTok. He said that that gave us a leg up on the competition.
But Shavar, let's go ahead. It to me it was the moment of the entire week. There was nothing else. WrestleMania did not match that match. Tell me your opinion, and then you can get out of here, my friend.
Man, first of all, and this is everybody's opinion, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but that match definitely should have been in place of the fucking War Raiders versus New Day.
Thank you.
Okay. Like, I
Thank you.
mean, my God. I mean, even in a couple of weeks or whatever, they shot the match at us 10 days before Mania. I'm like, surely they're building something for this, the WWE belt, tag belts, because that's the better tag team, whatever, the part of the division or whatever.
Well, hell,
But
Praxium just got added to the division too. So I mean, like they have a much bigger and deeper division.
that
Yeah.
match, man, first of all, they need to just unify the belts, just like they did with the women's titles, and just give us one belt across the board and let all the men's tag teams from NXT, SmackDown, and Raw interchangeably interact with each other. That would be the best solution to this weak ass tag team division, which honestly they're wasting its prime because we got some really solid tag teams out here. Like these guys are, and there's not enough airtime for all of them. So you got to figure out a way, you know what I mean, to incorporate more tag teams.
I disagree. I think that there's plenty of time. I think that there's too much time spent on random bullshit. Like for
Mm,
example, on Raw last week, there were 3 matches. It was a 2 hour and 45-minute show that was stellar,
yeah,
but there were 3 matches. Whereas
yeah.
SmackDown decided, hey, we're gonna have a women's match. We're gonna have this match. We're gonna have a 4-way dance. We're gonna have a tag team match. But the tag team match was a triple threat, tables, ladders, and chairs, 35-minute match. That was the best
Commercial free.
commercial
Commercial
free.
free.
And by the way, when they originally said commercial free and they started doing the picture in picture, fuck that bullshit. Okay.
Right.
That match, they did not do that. They let it go. They let it do what it needed to. And I think that was a Triple H thing where he said, hey, I know you guys want to put on the best possible match you can, and I'm going to let you. And we've paid for it to not have commercials.
I'm gonna say this because Rob, were you at SummerSlam 2000 in Raleigh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in Raleigh, absolutely, yeah.
Yes. So we witnessed the
I
first
think it
TLC
was
match.
you know.
Okay, so we all witnessed the first TLC match. I can't put I just can't. I'm too biased with it. I can't put this ahead of that. But I think it was the cleanest. Like they
Yes.
didn't have a bunch of botchery, dude. Like it was Montez Ford. If they fit Montez Ford to me is pound for pound the best athlete in the WWE.
Yep.
Pound
He's
for
one of them.
pound,
He's
I think he is outright the best athlete. Now,
the unfortunate thing is that we do know who the Marty Jannetty is in that group.
you
And
do know
yet
what?
we know who the Marty Jannetty is in that
So
group.
when I was in
Yes.
tag teams, we say the Shawn Michaels and the Marty Jannetty, and
Yes.
Montez is the Shawn
Yes.
Michaels of that
But
group.
but
Yes.
I will tell you, his tag team partner is no slouch and
No
does hold
doubt.
weight.
And he was a legitimate. I just watched the interview the other day. I didn't know he was a legitimate collegiate wrestler in
Yeah.
college. I didn't know that. He was legit.
Mhm.
With that being said, though, Montez Ford is blockbuster.
Yep.
And if they can figure out a way within the next, I just come on, man, give me 18 months. I don't know. Within the next 18 months, we got to figure out a way to not let Montez's Montez's physical prime go, and we got to figure out a way to get him in some kind of. Because I remember his singles run in that elimination chamber a couple 2-3 years ago, whatever.
Yep.
This dude is blockbuster, man. And that
And
match
he
put him on my radar as like the next big thing to break away from a tag team situation and do his own thing.
and he's
By,
put
by,
on muscle, and he's put on muscle, and he's looking a whole lot better. He's in better shape than he was then.
Yes.
by them putting the World Heavyweight Championship on Jey Uso, I think what they have done is they've created a championship that seems winnable by anybody.
Yes.
And it's not a knock on Jey Uso. He has worked
Right.
his ass off to get to that spot. It used to be the Intercontinental Championship was the working man's championship. We know now that Jey Uso is the working man's champion, right? He has worked his ass off to get there, but that World Heavyweight Championship has always felt like it was more obtainable than that Undisputed Championship. And with Jey Uso holding that belt, a guy like Montez Ford, if he makes his way over to Monday Night Raw for just maybe a one-night thing or whatever, suddenly you really do, if they have a match, you literally think that he has a chance to beat Jey Uso.
Legit.
Okay.
So what I would love to see them go back to, and Shabar, you can tell me this, and I'm sorry, I know that I'm supposed to call you Beezy.
Good, you good.
In this moment, I would love to see the Money in the Bank go back to being a 6-man or maybe even an 8-man where nobody that goes for it has ever won one of the 2 world championships.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could have a Montez Ford win.
Yep.
You
Agreed.
could have a Braun Breaker win. You could have, whereas we have gotten so complacent with, yes, we got Tiffany Stratton to win it last year on the women's side, but nobody has ever looked at the women's side as strong as the men's side. And that's why I was telling Tino, as we're talking about WrestleMania, all 5 guys were over 37 years old.
Mm.
In both main events, all 5 guys were over 37 years old. Tiffany Stratton, 22 or 20, 26? 26. I think she's 26.
She's 20. I'll look it up. I don't think she's that old. But go ahead.
Well, I know that she said she wants to be done by the time she's like 30. And that would be like, I think someone said it was 5 more years. So maybe she's 25. I don't know. But I would love to see that Money in the Bank go back to being that. Or maybe when you decide to do King of the Ring, the King of the Ring winners and the Queen of the Ring winners are not good.
She's 25.
25. So I would love to see those people not be former champions, because I'm tired of watching Drew McIntyre win the Money in the Bank. I'm tired of watching. Hell, Kane won Money in the Bank one year, or one. Yeah, he won Money in the and then he cashed it in that night against Rey Mysterio. Okay, but I'm tired of that. I want to see people that I've never seen be there, and that's why when Austin Theory was the champ, or was Money in the Bank, or when Otis was Money in the Bank, I loved it.
Yeah.
But then the Miz took it from Otis and became a 2-time world champion. At least he cashed it in and won. But
Yeah.
Anyways, but overall feelings, I know that this was an A+ match. Do you think by the end of this calendar year we get any match that actually looks and plays out as well as this 6-man tables, ladders, and chairs match looked?
The optimism in me says yes. I think we will. And obviously we're early enough in the year. But I think that they realize that we want to see them cook on Raw and SmackDown. They got all these hours. And we've noticed that they've had more of the title switching on these shows, which hadn't been done in a little while. And then all of a sudden it started happening what felt like every week. Now I don't want them to overdo that because if we remember though, again, I hate when I do this because I'm gonna start the attitude era. Like every week we never knew what the hell was gonna happen from one week
Yes.
to the next,
Yes.
and they had certified bangers that the opening segment. We knew what that main event was gonna be, and it was must watch. It was before our DVRs and all of that, right? So
But and that's what I was saying. They need to go back to that because Rob, I said this to Rob too. They need to go back to that fluency throughout the shows, right? So, like you said, that main event was coming, but then all through the show they had that little tie-in. Like you saw, if Stone Cold was in that main event, they kept that consistency stone going through that whole show. Stone Cold was doing something every segment leading up to that. They need to keep that consistency.
Well, it doesn't even have to be one character having flow throughout the entire
Yeah,
episode. The difference, and Tino and I have talked about this at length on our show, is that, and by the way, I feel SmackDown really did this, especially when you look at the women's title match on Friday night. You had Tiffany Stratton come out. She wants to sit there and talk about her championship victory, and then all of a sudden you have Jade Cargill come out. So all of a sudden you have combination of stories. So it wasn't just one story happening, because when Jade Cargill came out, she got the match, and that match got interrupted by Naomi. When Naomi sat there and interrupted the match, she ended up taking Jade Cargill out. We got Tiffany Stratton maintaining the championship, and just as we thought Tiffany Stratton was getting ready to get up and leave, Nia Jax.
Nia Jax. Yeah.
So we got interaction with multiple stories, which is something that should happen on a regular basis. Because like right now, you could easily go Naomi, Nia Jax versus Jade and Tiffany Stratton in a tag team match on Friday night, leading up to their match at the next pay-per-view or PLA.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that they really got away from, that when I think the agents work together, they can sit there and start implementing a lot more of that. So you really don't know what could happen. It was, we're going to talk about it. Obviously you're hopping off, but like that women's United States Championship match that also I felt should have been on WrestleMania and was not. Like, there's, as great as it was to see what happened, if it had included other storylines as well, then all of a sudden
would have hit different.
Feel like it wasn't so scripted.
Yeah. Right. Agreed.
So,
well,
VZ, why don't you tell people
sir.
how to reach you on the YouTube and hop out of here?
Yeah, so you'll see, just like my screen name says, there's only one VZ, I believe, with the underscores on YouTube. But either way, it's only one VZ on that platform. TikTok, when I bring it back, I'm a weird creator in a sense that when I get focused on my outside, like my real job, I shut everything down. Rob will tell you that, I do that all the time. Like, I shut it down and I accomplish what I set out to accomplish, and I come back. It's just always been my thing. I believe in manifestation, all of that. I probably could write a book on it because my life is like living proof of that shit. So I just swear by it. So that's that. But yeah, you can reach me there. I sell cars for Johnson Lexus of Raleigh. So if you need any help with that, and don't think that because I sell Lexuses, that's all you can buy. We keep 250 used cars on our lot at all times, and I got everything from Hondas on up to Range Rovers. So you name it, we got it.
He is also, I'm just gonna flat out say this. He's also one of the most honest people you will ever meet. So if he doesn't think the car is a deal, he is going to tell you that.
100%.
He's gonna sell you what you need more than what you want.
100%.
But I mean, without a doubt, he is legit. He is going to get you the deal that you're looking for, and he is my brother from another mother.
No doubt.
Like he's family, and I don't even think any of my family members know him yet. So,
Other than your sis.
You know what? I know that's not true because he definitely met some of my family when he came in the hospital.
No doubt. No doubt.
But VZ, you're one with me. You know that.
My God.
You are welcome anytime on the show.
Yes, sir.
Even if it means Tino's going to have to go an extra half an hour on a night.
No, I just clocked out.
Hey, and Tino, man, take care of that, man. Get the wife to get you one more round of chicken noodle soup or something, bro.
Yeah, she
Theraflu.
made me. She made me some the
Okay,
nights I've been eating
okay,
all that, man. So yeah, she's taking
okay.
care of me.
Get that hottie toddy. You'll be good to
Yes,
go.
I've been. Yep, that's what I've been doing. I've been getting the hot tea
Yeah,
with lemon, honey, and Crown apple.
yes, sir. Yes,
VZ, one
sir.
of these wrestling events we're gonna have to go to, and if you've never been to DPW, I was totally against it until our buddy Jason forced me to go, and now I can't miss them, man. If they're in Durham or they're in Raleigh, I want to go. So you got to.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
It's a great time. I mean, you're talking 5 rows of seats, and you're talking guys like Jake something. You're talking the Motor City Machine Guns. You're talking Roderick Strong. Tino, tell me if there's anybody else that who's that big dude who is like one of their champions or whatever that like is just amazing to watch. Like
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about.
he's like
Yeah,
the indie Husky Harris, man. Like
yeah, dude,
he really is a Ferrari engine and a tank body.
I like
dude.
it. I
Tankman,
like
that's his
it.
name. Tankman.
Tankman, yeah.
His last name's Tankman. Yep, he's good, dude.
So, but
Well, if I got time, I'm there.
well, you are welcome on the show anytime. You just wanna BS about wrestling. We're here
Yes,
every
sir.
Monday night, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My guys, love as always, man.
All right, man. You take care of yourself.
All
All
right,
right,
go
brothers.
take care. Go take care of the kid.
Yes, sir.
All right, Tino. What do you want to talk about?
For the next half hour. Been on this bitch for almost an hour and a half.
All right, we'll skip our TV talk. Was there anything from AEW we need to talk about? Shelton Benjamin
Yep.
gave a thumbs up this week, and
And
Bobby
then they
Lashley
drove off with the car.
entered his car.
That was funny. And then, of course, the Young Bucks had to win the match. So, there's that.
Against two of the newest signees.
So, yeah, I don't even talk about it.
Oh, they're
Main
two of the
thing I want.
guys in pro wrestling. That's what I keep hearing. But all right. So you want to just do this?
Yes.
All right. We got a John Cena promo. He won the title. It doesn't matter what he said. He said he's going away. The one good thing that he actually said was he counted down the amount of dates he has left.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
was solid, bro. Like he goes, you have me for, and then he put up 36 and he goes, nope. That's what it was when I started this year. You have me for 27 dates.
And that's got to last through December.
And then he showed up on Friday, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What happened as he got ready to leave the ring?
Oh, his ass got RKO'd.
He didn't just get RKO'd. As he turned around and Randy Orton was doing that Viper thing that he does, which, by the way, is still to this day, it's kind of scary when someone turns around and looks at. But now that he's 290 pounds, it's even scarier than when he's 230 pounds. But when John turned around, he goes, "Oh shit!" Dropped with the RKO. Which you can't do on SmackDown, but you can do on Monday Night Raw. So, hell of a way to start Monday Night Raw. Then, Tino, I really want your opinion about what happened next. Are you ready? Becky and Lyra Valkyria, who won the tag team titles off of Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania, have a rematch against Liv and Raquel. And what happened?
Of course, they lost the match. Lyra gets pinned. Becky goes to act like she's going to help Lyra up, and then she fucking proceeds to manhandle slam the shit out of her. Tries to leave. The crowd goes one more time. She goes back in, does it again, tries to leave one more time. Okay, she goes back in, does it. Oh my God.
So does that mean Becky's the heel, or is Becky the babyface because she's giving the fans what they want?
I think she's gonna be the heel. And I
So
think that means Becky, unfortunately, is going to take that title off of Lyra.
so my question to you now is not just is Becky Lynch a heel, but when she came back to the whoa, the man gimmick. Is this going to put her in the big time Bex gimmick, or is it going to be something new?
I don't know, because I think when she originally came to Man, she was a heel. The big time Bex, I don't think gets over as much as that man. So I think she's going to stay just a heel, the man, but it might add a new twist, and I don't know what it's going to be yet. But it'll still be the man. I don't think she'll go back to big time Bex.
So I always worry that the big time Bex gimmick happened way too soon, and it was Vince McMahon orchestrated. He wanted Becky Lynch as a heel, and that's why I didn't think it worked. So I hope they don't go to big time Bex here. I also don't want to talk about the main event yet because I want to talk about that specifically and possibly a new grouping of people at the end of Monday Night Raw. Then we got the New Day wanting to come out for their celebration, being the tag team champions. And so, by the way, congratulations to Liv and Raquel being 3-time women's tag team champions.
4-time.
Oh, right. They were 3-time. Now they are 4-time. Or is it Liv was a 3-time? Anyways.
So, I think Liv's 4.
And I think Raquel's 3.
Yeah, but okay.
But as a team, they're 3-time tag team. That's what I think. But then the Alpha Academy came out to interrupt them, and they got interrupted by somebody. And it really was a new day.
It was Rusev's day. And I think the Rusev Day is going to join the New Day. And I think I told you that. I think he's going to replace Big E.
Well, I thought I told you I thought it was going to be called a new Rusev Day.
Whatever. Rusev's going to replace Big E.
Or maybe it's Rusev's New Day, which I actually like more than New Rusev Day. Either way, did seem interesting that Rusev took out the Alpha Academy by himself, and the New Day just kind of. Then we got Io Sky. Io Sky was talking about her victory at WrestleMania, which once again I called. And I'm not just saying that because it's ego or anything. I'm saying it because it really felt like because she was getting dogged the entire time, she needed to have a solid victory, right?
Mm.
She got that in the first match of WrestleMania Night 2. And then we got the NXT champion, Stephanie Vaquer, came out and was like, why don't you go ahead and if you think you're really the best women's wrestler, why don't you show everybody that you are?
Yep.
And we started to get a match.
It's a good match, too.
It was, but what happened?
Julia and Roxanne came out. Now, I want to say something I just read on my smart news before you got here. They were saying that this is a call-up for Perez and Julia because I guess backstage, remember they were talking about the patches and they're going to put those on their top cards. Perez and Julia had Raw patches on their shirts, what people were saying earlier walking around. So
with Julia specifically, we know that actually is her Raw debut. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's getting called up. With Roxanne, I think yes. I think this is actually the call up. With Julia,
but they said that Julia and Perez both had the Raw patches that are going to be sold on those cards, though.
Right, but and here's where I want to throw a little wrench in that mix is that these new patches just got announced like a couple weeks ago. Roxanne had already shown up after the Royal Rumble and everything else, so it was after that. Their new deal with Topps trading cards to get these patches and everything else makes sense that because this is their real debut on Raw, because Roxanne had been on Smackdown a couple times and everything else, but with her, I think it really is her debut. when it comes to Julia, I think she could still be on NXT, but this was her Raw debut as well. Know what I mean? So while she might not be called up yet, because obviously she made it seem like there's still something going on between her and Vaquer, that she still got unfinished business in NXT. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I'm not saying she's going to win against Vaquer. It could be another loss, and then she gets called up fully. But I am thinking that because this officially was her first first appearance on Monday Night Raw, it shows up as where she's wearing that patch.
Sure.
And sorry if that sounded a little confusing, but I think you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then we got Jey Uso getting a proper championship celebration. And I'm going to tell you right now, Tino, the entire time with the people that showed up, I was like, please don't let them turn on him. Please don't let them turn on him.
When he was up on that rope, and he was and Sammy was kind of like in the ring just looking at him. But I think Sammy is going to turn on him.
I think Sammy's the perfect first opponent for him. I think that the first time they face each other, I think it's going to be baby versus baby. And then Sammy's going to turn on him after he loses the match. And then he's going to get a second match as a heel.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's typical WWE protocol.
That's like or Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy's coming for him. I think it's going to be Sammy.
I don't think Jimmy's coming for him, but even if Jimmy doesn't go against his brother, I could see Jim being in the corner of Sammy.
Okay.
You didn't do anything to stop Gunther from beating me up, blah blah blah, because of that. Even though he was strapped. All right. Then we get the really odd moment of Raw. And I'm not even saying it was a bad moment. But Gunther came out, got in Michael Cole's face, and attacked him.
Well, he started to that, and I didn't think they were going to let him really do all that damage to Cole.
I mean, he's going against the guy that's undefeated at WrestleMania.
Shut up. But I didn't expect. I thought a wrestler was going to come out and help him. I wasn't expecting McAfee. But if they're going to write McAfee off the TV for a while, that probably was the best. Because I was like, it's not football season yet, but you're like, but it's draft. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, and obviously McAfee had some other stuff going on. He might be working with UFL. I don't know. Because I know all those companies are working together to try to get that really off the ground, specifically for The Rock, who, by the way, when he showed up in September and then in January, Pat McAfee was with him both times. My thing here is this. I think it is to write Pat McAfee off TV. I think McAfee was supposed to be there. When did he come back? Like Survivor Series? Ish? No.
When did CM Punk come back?
Oh, that was last November.
Okay.
He hasn't been back that. No, he came back after September. He came back, you know what it was? He came back when Raw went to or when SmackDown went to USA. So he came back on that like October 1st episode of SmackDown.
Was it then, or was it when they went to Netflix?
Well, no. Then he got moved over to Netflix. But the October 1st episode of SmackDown on USA, the first 3-hour episode, that's when him and Cole were over there. And they got moved over to Netflix when Joe Tess and Wade Barrett went over to the other show. So about 6 months, worked all the shows, did everything he could. Makes sense to write him off TV. Like anybody who didn't see that coming, anybody who thinks that this means it's going to be him versus Gunther in a match.
No.
I could see it being him and someone else versus Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther in a match at like SummerSlam. But I don't see it being a match right now.
No.
In fact, if I saw anything, I would say it'd probably be like War Games, where it's 5-on-5 and McAfee can take up a space in the 5. So that's what I would assume here, folks. All right. Dom with Finn Balor and Carlito versus Penta. Dom's first Intercontinental title defense.
Bubblehead.
JD McDonough, who Tino is now calling bobblehead, which I find hilarious because every time I said he had a big head, Tino was like, it's not that big. Now all of a sudden he's calling him bobblehead. And this is after we've already admitted we have so much more respect.
Oh yeah, I do. I
JD McDonough.
I do. That motherfucker's tough as nails. Tough as a $2 steak.
Tough as a $2 steak. He ended up he helped Dom win the match. And the whole while, like, Finn Balor looks a little off.
I thought they were going to kick him out then.
Rumor is that it's going to happen at Night of Champions. So they're gonna hold it off until they go to Night of Champions.
When is that?
I don't know. I probably if I had to guess, the PLE after the one that we're getting ready to see.
Okay.
Which I think is too long. I think it's got to happen at the next PLE.
And maybe
so
have
then,
have him go for the title. Have him go for the title at Night of Champions.
That would be smart. Yeah. Tino, I'm going to let you talk about this one because even though you've got the flu, you've got your voice. So I want it to be heard.
So Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman come out, and they're doing their thing. And I was wondering if he was going to come. Remember, we talked about it. Was he going to go back to the Messiah? But what we were talking about
well, you said you thought he was going to be the Messiah, and I was like, he's not going to be the Messiah. And I said, I hope he doesn't do his normal shtick. And he did and didn't, because he didn't do it the way that he normally does. So go ahead.
Well, I fell asleep. I know they were in the ring. I forget who came out to the ring to confront him.
CM Punk.
CM Punk came out in the ring to confront him. He was talking shit. And they were going at it. And at some point, out of the crowd, out of nowhere, where the fuck did he come from? And a black cutie.
No. You missed it.
I told you, I was like, I got so much. It's all wrapped up. So you have to.
All right. CM Punk's music hits. He comes down to the ring. He starts laying into Seth Rollins. He looks over at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman sits there and he says, "What did you want me to do? What did you want me to do?" And then Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman comes down to the ring. Roman goes after Seth. Roman clears the ring. He's even going after, he's not really going after CM Punk at this point. I think Seth Rollins had actually tried to stomp CM Punk after he went after Paul Heyman, whatever. And then Roman Reigns Superman punches Paul Heyman. He got away with it. He hit him with it. And then he went and I think after that he speared Seth Rollins again. And then he did the ooh-ha, turns around, and when he turns back and goes, WWE does something that since Triple H has been in charge, they have done spectacularly well. And out of nowhere, a black hoodie spears Roman Reigns. Now, if someone had yelled, Goldberg, I wouldn't have been surprised. But it wasn't, because he ripped the black hoodie off. And it was the man that has a 167% chance of winning. It was Braun Breaker. And then
I
it
think you were
wasn't
texting.
even over. He continued his assault. He got speared by Roman or something outside the ring, but then he got up and he put him through the barricade at the timekeeper's table.
And we had literally said, I think before you and I went off the air, I think, and you even texted me and said, I think they took that belt off of him because he's going to somehow get into the main event. And then when it was over, you texted me and said, you were right.
And it wasn't just that. It was Seth Rollins looked like he was going to attack him. And then
They hugged.
Paul Heyman walked up and raised both their arms, and Seth Rollins just went, ha, 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 ha. And now the reason why I talk about this, Tino, is because I've already given them a name.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if the internet community has given them a name, but I've put it on.
Oh, you did tell me. You did. You told me.
I've put it on Twitter. I've put it in the Facebook group, and in fact, I've got to give my friend Patrick Henson the actual. He actually named it properly for me, because I named it, but then he gave it its acronym, and I said that this new group between Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman, which, by the way, last week I said, don't be surprised to see Braun Breaker become a Paul Heyman guy. Remember?
I think so. I don't remember.
I literally said Braun Breaker's been working with Paul Heyman behind the scenes, so don't be surprised to see him show up on camera with him. And then Seth turned on him. All of this was stuff I was talking about 4 weeks ago now. But I gave it a name. And it's a name that's a callback to an old Paul Heyman thing, but it's still new. Are you ready for it?
You gonna spit it out?
Yeah. I called it the New Dangerous Alliance. Which, by the way, our friend Patrick Henson on our Facebook group gave it an even better name. He called it the NDA. Which means for you to join the group, you sign an NDA, which also is a dig at Vince McMahon.
So here's another thing too. Medusa was part of the Dangerous Alliance. So there was another woman turned heel at the beginning. She might not be a Paul Heyman girl.
Oh, no,
she's a Seth Rollins girl.
She's gonna be, and it's funny because Twitter actually said she'll become the first Paul Heyman girl, and Medusa was the one that sat there and said, not true. But yes, Michael Turner has been saying it throughout the night. We really haven't gotten to our chat. Sorry, folks, we've had a lot going on. We still got an entire Smackdown to get through. But yes, I expect. I don't know if they're going to call it the New Dangerous Alliance or the NDA, which they should, because it's fucking awesome. But I do expect Becky Lynch to join the group, because while people don't necessarily want to hate Becky Lynch, they also don't like the husband and wife team-ups in pro wrestling very much. So when they actually have them, they start booing the people because they're disappointed that they have, quote-unquote, no shot with them. So that's why I see that working. And now that they've turned both Seth and Becky full-on heel, yes, I see that being the case. Tino, you ready to move on to SmackDown?
Yeah, my
I,
damn.
we're gonna try to
Codeine,
get through it pretty quick. Ready?
codeine's kicking in.
Fraxium and Los Garzas open the show. Joe Tessitore announces at the beginning of the show that Fraxium is now SmackDown.
Yep, yep. And I think Los Garza is going to split from. uh
Legato.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go with Andrade. At least one of them is.
You know what I was thinking that would actually work at this point is if they decided they wanted to do something, if they wanted to keep Legado del Fantasma going, put Dominic in charge of it, and it
They'd
would
have to
work.
move him to SmackDown. Though. I think he's doing better on Raw.
I mean, I don't care what show he's on; he's going to do great either way. So Tiffany Stratton comes out to chat, and we suddenly get ourselves Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Pretty hard-hitting match. You
I'm
saw that
surprised.
Tiffany still had the mark on her forehead from WrestleMania.
I think this is going into. Remember, I think we talked about it before. Was it
We talked about it a little bit with Shavar. This part
Yeah,
of
I think. Well, I think too. No, 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 no. I think that Edge was the pretty boy, and he had to prove himself to be the tough when
sure,
he went
Randy Orton had to
against
do the
Cactus
same
Jack,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
So I think Stratton would come out of that. Yeah, she's Barbie doll and she's prissy, but I think that match with Charlotte and then this hard hitting match with Carhills is showing a they need to show her a tougher side, especially if they want to keep her as a believable champion who can face believable threats, especially getting ready to go up against if they're gonna put her against Nia again, they have to make her look like she's believable, that she's tough enough and she'll be able to hang and she's just not like another pretty face or like a Divas champion like they used to have.
Well, like you just said, the match wasn't actually interrupted initially by Nia Jax. It was interrupted by Naomi, who said backstage to Nia Jax that if she gets in her way, she better proceed with caution because she's wearing all the caution tape.
I just proceed with caution, and I was like, rude.
Yeah, the rude comment kind of made me laugh. But then Nia obviously attacked Tiffany Stratton after the match. I thought that this was a good sign for the women's division. Multiple people getting involved in multiple things. Unfortunately, it could also mean a four-way dance for the championship. So that's what I worry about, but it could be a good sign, but it could also mean that. Speaking of the women's champions, your United States champion and your longest reigning, hottest champion, Chelsea Green, because no one else had been the champion before, so no one else could be hotter than her, versus Zelina Vega.
They had to give Selena. She's lost so many times, and I think they're trying to push her. And I think now that her husband's on board, I think they're trying to give her a little something, something. Now, not saying Selena's going to hold this belt forever, and I'm sure Chelsea will probably get it back. But it's good to let Selena have a win.
It does feel like Zelina's going to be a transitional champion, except this is the third win in a row against Chelsea Green. Like, I was a little surprised that after winning two other matches via, like, disqualification and weird shit, that she won the third match. But I was okay with it. At the same time, I also think that holding this match off of WrestleMania weekend was just wrong. Again. Except I will say this SmackDown was so loaded because like the Stratton match was not an original match. Like it was, why don't we get a referee down here and we'll start it?
Yeah.
And I was okay with that. Like they really loaded SmackDown up with a lot of wrestling. So new Women's United States Champion, Zelina Vega. And yes, it's about time besides winning the Women's Queen of the Ring tournament, she really hadn't done anything special. Yet she always stepped up when needed.
Yes.
Then we get The Miz comes out to complain, Tino, and I put this up for a specific reason because
The
I didn't
Mix?
want to sit there and just give away the outcome to it.
The Mix complains?
Yeah, sorry, I wrote it from a damn iDevice that always autocorrects to like the easiest word. So thank you, iPad.
I never had that problem. You got to learn.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Type in Miz on your phone right now.
Yeah, but I know to fix it. You didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it.
So
So the Miz comes out to complain. And what do we get when the Miz comes out to complain? He sits there and complains enough to where the lights go out.
yes.
And when the lights go out, Tino, it's not your typical someone just shows up in the ring to beat him up. It's we get the really cool entrance,
I missed that entrance.
except, and I'm going to say this, except I had a problem with it because I felt like it took too fucking long.
That's what it always was back in the day.
Well, but here's the thing. The Miz was already in the ring. The crowd was already like, meh. That entrance happened, and it didn't seem to ignite the crowd.
Yeah, did you hear that pop?
There was a pop, but was it like one of those universal pops? And here's why I say it, because even when the pop happened, when the entrance is happening, when he got off the thing and he started walking to the ring, he walked to the ring. So the pop was gone by the time he got in the ring.
They were still cheering when he was coming down that aisle. I think they did the right thing. I think that pop lasted as long as he walked down to the ring. I don't think it died down.
Well, then he gave the worst black mass ever.
Yeah, he fucked that up.
Now,
He did fuck that up.
now the Miz, being the professional that he was, sold it like $1 million fucking dollars. Because he just went pop and fell back. He took a black mass right here, and yet
I'm like,
he
he
went
did not get hit.
down like $1
He did not get
million
hit.
fucking dollars.
He did not get that leg up high at all. I'm like, Alistair, sir, that is not your best.
No, and maybe it was the Miz just said, "Kick me anywhere, I'm going down." Okay, I'll kick you in the foot.
No, I think he lost. I think he lost his foot, and I think he kind of slipped.
He might have, and that's very possible. Obviously, those rings, if you don't actually like wipe your feet off, actually
Yeah.
do get very slippery. I know this actually because as
And
I
it's probably and probably nerves and everything going on. He probably, yeah.
But welcome back, fucking Alistair Black.
And don't you try to say that ring was slippery. Your ass slipped before you even got in the ring,
That's true.
trying to get on the apron. So that had nothing to do with being in the ring slippery. You pulled a Titus O'Neil.
No, I didn't do anything like that. My problem was that you know what my real problem was is that I didn't realize how tight the ropes were. So when I tried to put my leg over the middle rope, that's when I had issues.
That shit was hilarious. I watched that shit still.
Still made my count.
You did?
Then we got some fire.
Yes.
And this is going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Not only this match was a clusterfuck. These two hit each other hard. But
It's almost one of those, and it's been happening a lot, especially on SmackDown. I'm like, does somebody potato somebody and they're trying to get receipts? Like, did that just turn real? You know what I'm saying? And it's happened a lot on SmackDown between Tiffany and and Charlotte, and it was
So
something else.
I don't know if it's somebody potatoed somebody on purpose. I think it's these 5 or 6 guys have all sat there and said, lay it in. Make it look good. And unfortunately, when you go to lay it in and make it look good, you're getting a potato. Like in fact, you're getting au gratin, you're getting damn French fried, you're getting baked. It doesn't matter. You're getting all the potatoes.
It's you getting Idaho.
You're
You
getting
got
the
Idaho.
entire farm. Like you're
You
just
got
getting
Idaho.
potatoed.
You got the whole state. You got Idaho.
Yes, I think you're getting Idaho. But I mean, like, I do think that there's still a little bit of dirt between LA Knight and McIntyre. I think that they're both professional enough to work through it. I think it was great for Tessitore to talk earlier in the night about how Damian Priest was not at SmackDown, so that way when he jumped the guardrail and actually laid into them and got the match ended was awesome, because it immediately meant LA Knight, who was trying to get his rematch for the title that he lost, was suddenly the loser in a match against McIntyre. And he had every right to be mad at Priest.
Yep.
But then that wasn't it. What else happened?
Damn, the Samoan werewolf showed up and took out everybody.
Didn't Solo also show up?
Probably. I get more excited for the Samoan werewolf because I'm waiting for him to turn on. Either he turns on Solo or Solo turns on him, but for him to get away from them.
Well, he almost turned on Solo earlier in the night, because Solo came out and was running a promo that was basically like, I'm the reason, and then the mic just came out of his hand and he said,
Narmin.
He did. He said, Ramin.
He said, listen, I'm all gas, no brakes. Narmin.
All right, we already talked about the tables, ladders, and chairs
Yes.
match. I do want to go ahead and ask you, did you have any final thoughts about this match? It was
fire. It was fire. Everything we said, it was fire. It should have been on the pay-per-view instead of the New Day and Viking Raiders match, or War Raiders, whatever they call themselves.
Do you think that WWE purposely put this match on in this way with tables, ladders, and chairs, knowing that AEW had put on a pretty good, like, 6-man tag match on Wednesday night? So they said, and I don't even know if it was WWE that said it, or if it was one of those, maybe 2, maybe 4, maybe all 6 of those guys went in, talked to Triple H and said, hey, because I don't remember them last week announcing it was tables, ladders, and chairs. This week it was tables, ladders, and chairs. What was it announced last week?
Yeah.
They announced it before WrestleMania that it was going to be tables, ladders, and chairs.
And that's why everybody was pissed.
Well, we all know that if this had gone, like, 100% without a doubt, if this match had been on WrestleMania, it was the main event. It was going to
be an A+ match. I agree.
It was going to overshadow every fucking thing that WWE, and it did. And by the way, kudos to all 6 men, because this, I believe, was all 6 men's first tables, ladders, and chairs match. Yep. I know it was the Motor City Machine Guns' first tables, ladders, and chairs. They've had other crazy matches that included all 3, but they've obviously never been in a WWE ring for a tables, ladders, and chairs match. DIY, Tommaso Ciampa doing that white noise through the ladder, fucking insane. But then, what's the move that DIY does? What do they call it? It's not the kill switch.
Skull and crossbones.
Skull and bones.
Skull and bones.
When Saban took what's his face out of the ring and he's standing on that table, and you just hear Tessitore going, he's not gonna do. He only like he wanted to say holy shit. He just did the skull and bones. Like, and by the way, having Tessitore and Barrett on commentary for that match made it more real than having Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. It gave it so much more because Joe Tessitore is a true sports commentator. We know that. So when we know that he's yelling out like what the move is and everything else, that dude did his homework.
Yeah.
And it is a thing of beauty to listen to him call those moves in a way that we're probably talking 96 to 98 Jim Ross. I'm not even saying Jerry Lawler. Could you imagine if Jim Ross had someone like Wade Barrett being his color commentator? How good he would have been?
Yeah.
Like,
I think I also sent you the thing from TikTok. I think I sent it to you where the guy with the prosthetic leg was actually in the audience, and Montel walked by and he's like, use my leg. Montel had picked up a chair and he heard this dude say, use my leg, and he came back and he took the dude's leg and he hit him with it.
So I wanted to ask you guys this, and unfortunately Shavar left earlier, but I gotta ask you. The liability involved with using a prosthetic leg from somebody has to be huge.
Yeah, but if you know, and I was going to say that, but if you notice, he was very careful with it. He took the shoe part of it and he kind of like hit him, and then he gave it back. He didn't hit him with the thing.
No, the first hit into the guy's stomach was the attached to the leg part. He goes like that.
But then he have his hand over it. He protected it.
No, he actually hit him like that. But what did it look safe? Yes. And a prosthetic leg you assume is made out of titanium or something, right? But what if it hadn't been? Like, what if it was just a steel leg? We've seen steel chairs get busted. That dude ain't walking home that night.
He'd have been like, oh, well. He didn't care.
He'd be like, fuck, what do I do now?
He probably had enough. Yes, he didn't think that far in advance. He thought it was in the ECW arena.
Well, so when I saw it on Twitter, I reposted it with two things. The first one was, did Montez Ford get fined by the WWE and TK? Hold on. Did he get fined by TKO and WWE for taking a prop from the audience rather than using a acceptable prop? I'm going to agree with you that I think the answer is no. But it wouldn't surprise me if they sit there and go, hey, don't do that again.
And that's the thing I was going to say. There's two things that happen there. A, it's, they always do and then ask for forgiveness later. You've heard that one. And I think B, these people spend so much money. So to be a part of that, I don't think WWE would have been mad for that, for WWE superstar to give a fan that kind of interaction. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have been mad about that.
I don't think they'd be mad if it was a dark match. Because then they can say, oh, what happens not on TV, we don't have, like this, that, whatever. We asked them about it. This guy mentioned a prosthetic leg to this guy. What? And the guy might have actually said it. They might actually know the guy. He might actually be somebody that knows one of the, I don't know. When you're sitting front row, anything can happen, right? My other point to this same exact moment, though, is the other thing that I posted on Twitter was I reposted the video that said Montez Ford using the leg to do this. I wrote EC dub, EC dub. Because that's what it reminded me of. And I agree with you. By the way, Montez just taking that leg and tossing it back without fail, the guy catching it perfectly.
Oh, he probably said, I paid money for that shit. Oh, God.
They would have gotten it back to him regardless. And if it was titanium, that shit ain't bending anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but it was incredible. It reminded you of the days where anything can happen in a WWE ring.
Yep.
Like I almost wondered if it was going to be Zach Gowen as the person sitting front row.
Shut up.
No. I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm literally saying that as, what if it was? Wouldn't that be cool? Hey, did you realize, like all of a sudden you hear Joe Tessitore, did you realize that was Zach Gowen who wrestled for the WWE back in 2007? Like, holy shit, right?
That would be cool.
But the fact that it wasn't made it even cooler because it was a very special moment for that one special fan in the audience. But when you're like, the other question when it comes to could this be a problem? And I only have two other things that I really want to talk about tonight, by the way. The only other question I have when it comes to could this be a problem is they are still dealing with the situation of the woman falling down because of.
That was such bullshit. Now, you and I both know that and everybody's saying that she fell later.
Well,
I think she's just trying to get a payday.
Have you seen, so you've seen Green Shirt Guy at WWE events, right?
Yeah. I think you sent me that.
Have you seen why?
CM Punk thing?
But when it actually happened. When he actually got punched and everything else by CM Punk. Because at WrestleMania this year, he followed Wade Barrett down to the ring.
Green Shirt Guy? I didn't see that.
Bald head with his stupid just beard, no mustache. Goatee.
So why did he follow him down in the ring, though?
Because since that happened, he has been given tickets to, I think, every WrestleMania.
So he's trying to make it happen again?
Huh?
He's trying to make it happen again?
No, it wasn't him that did this one. I'm just saying that it's one of those things where, someone threatened the WWE and they basically said, hey, we'll take care of you for blah, blah, blah. And I don't know how long it is, but we've all seen Green Shirt Guy. The guy shows up at everything.
Everything.
So I think he's taken care of pretty well. Now, granted, he might have been in the offices when Vince McMahon was doing what he was doing, but we'll never know about any of that. Anyways, Tino, that's really what happened with the shows. I do want to ask your opinion on the week after WrestleMania. We didn't get to go into NXT, unfortunately. We didn't really get to go into AEW, but that's fine. Obviously, with WrestleMania, the Rock shit that went on, and then Raw and SmackDown, I really want your opinion. what did you think of the week after WrestleMania this year? Because the WWE last couple years had kind of let us down with the Raw after Mania, the SmackDown after Mania, and all that. So, feelings.
Something was missing this year. The
From what?
Raw after Mania, the Raw after Mania this year wasn't as ruckus. They didn't really try to.
That was a crowd thing, though, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And I agree with you, and I think that's because it was still in Vegas. 4 days of WWE events. I think they were tired.
Okay.
But SmackDown.
SmackDown was awesome.
But the crowd was also awesome.
Everything was awesome.
Now
very...
the Raw event, was the Raw after Mania awesome?
Yes.
Did you know they only had 3 matches?
It didn't seem like it, though.
3 hours. And by the way, it was 2 hours and like 52 minutes this week. So they actually did go longer than their normal. 3 matches.
Wow.
Whereas SmackDown, it seemed like every segment that there wasn't a match, there were people going, let's have a match. And then they had a match. And then they even had the last hour, no commercials. Now, granted, again, it was really only the last like 40 minutes with no commercials because they did that picture-in-picture bullshit.
I hate that picture-in-picture.
Did you notice when
I always fast forward.
Did you notice when you watch AEW on Max, you don't get picture-in-picture?
No. Really?
I watch AEW.
I don't ever watch it on Max. I guess that's why.
I watch it on Max every week now.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
And I think tomorrow I'm actually canceling cable television.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Why?
Right now I get USA and all my other channels different ways, so I think I can.
I canceled cable a long time ago. I've got my
Well, you have
YouTube
YouTube
TV,
TV.
fella.
Yeah. But I think I'm just getting rid of TV. I'm gonna have all the apps, which I think now actually give me everything.
I'm scared to do that though.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm at the point. Those assholes finally pissed me off.
What they do?
No, they didn't do anything extra. Like, it's just always been that. So, but anyways.
I'm done.
So last 2 things that I wanted to talk to you about, and then we can get out of here.
Yay.
Rey Mysterio underwent surgery this week. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, so how long is he going to be out?
I don't think they actually said, because I've never heard, like, I don't even remember what got surgery on. So I don't know how long the expected timeout is.
Didn't he? Wasn't it his knee or something?
But they actually called it a different thing than I've ever heard. Like, the surgery was on some weird thing, like a scooter or something. I don't even remember what it was called.
I forget what it was.
But anyway, surprisingly, guess who hasn't undergone surgery yet?
What are they waiting on?
I think he is waiting on it. I think he wants to see whether or not the same thing that Big E did, which was I'm going to wait it out and see if I get.
That's going to be a mistake.
Could be that. Could also be that, hey, I wanted to get through WrestleMania weekend. I wanted to sign autographs. I wanted to do this. Could be any of that. You know, because he obviously was sitting at the Hall of Fame. And now that that's over, now we're, as Triple H put it, in the off season, which the off season was, whew, now that that's over. And then someone else threw a script in front of him and said, this is tomorrow. And he goes,
Damn
what?
it.
God damn it. That's the off season. By the way, Tino, I want to go ahead and thank Shavar, Only One VZ, for being on the show tonight.
Only one VZ.
He obviously, when he's doing TikToks, he's got a great platform.
Dude, like I said, and I tell you, I watch his shit and it just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh. If you, like I said, you guys need to join. If you find him on TikTok, you find him on Instagram, anything you find him on, just watch him and like and subscribe to his shit too, because he's a good guy.
He's fucking
And
hilarious.
very entertaining.
But on top of that, he is a top-notch, like top 1% human being on this.
So have you known him longer than me?
No.
I was listening to you guys talk. You were like, he's like 07. I'm like, okay.
No,
I
dude.
try to figure out who you know.
I think you and I have known each other since the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
I met him. I met him, and I know that I've known you longer, but I met him. So for those wondering, I met Shavar, or Only One VZ, when he worked for me at GameStop in 2006. I worked at the EB Games in Crabtree Valley Mall, and he had already worked there. And when I got hired to be the assistant manager, when I got hired to be the assistant manager, he started talking to me, and he was like, "Oh man, this guy's kind of tough to work for." Then I went on vacation. I came back, and I was told, "Hey, the other guy put in his notice, so you're becoming the manager of that store." And I had to get him and a guy named Javon to actually like, "Hey, you guys gotta like me, okay? Like we gotta get through this." And
you gotta like me. Please like me. Please like me.
Well, it was one of those things where it's like you're going, holy shit! Like I'm walking into like the biggest store that they've got, being told I'm taking over, and I have no idea what's going on, right? And I like with Shavar, we just talked wrestling. Like he worked like 2 nights a week with me, and we just talked wrestling.
That's awesome.
And we talked sports and everything else because obviously I know enough about all of the other sports to sit there and talk about them. But like we just started talking wrestling, and before you know it, it was like, okay. And I think even Javon, we would talk about wrestling too. But Shavar, like I got moved to another store, and shortly after I got moved to another store, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not working here anymore." So I assume that he stayed working there because of me. And shortly after that, that's when Tino and I invited Shavar over to watch like a WrestleMania or whatever, and he made that damn nacho dip.
My god! Oh my god, that was so good. Oh my god, that was so good.
He made this cheese dip that was like, it rivaled like the Chili's cheese dip that they had. That what the queso dip.
I forget what it was, but it was so fucking good.
And it had chorizo in it. And it had it didn't matter. It was just fucking phenomenal. But yeah. And
I don't care what it was.
ever since then, like any
We want to
chance
go to his house. We want to go to his house for everything.
we drive the hour to get to his place to go eat that cheese dip.
And we walk in there and be like, "Hello, Mrs. Shavar. What you got to eat?"
He's probably watching this right now, going, "Those motherfuckers."
Shavar, that shit was good. You need to make that again.
Tino, yeah. Every time, like he go, "Hey, you guys coming over for like Royal Rumble?" And I'd be like, "Are you making
Making that dip?
And I really would. Like, I'm not even kidding, folks. I totally would. Tino, I know that we're over the 2-hour mark. We're not crazy over it. We're 20 minutes.
I'm not crazy. Yeah, I'm not crazy over it.
Go ahead and tell everybody how to find you, and we'll get out of here tonight.
You can find me, sir,
Like how that
on Blue
light
Sky.
is like divine intervention.
Sorry. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on the what do you call it? The Insta Tino. You can find me at Snapchat. You can find me on the Tiki Taka Tino R Grade Music. You can also find me right here each and every week on the Pots and Pans Network. You can find the Potsy and Tino on Twitter, Potsy and Tino Show on Facebook. We want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song. You can get it for iTunes for 99 cents, 99 Jones, which we had we forgot. We had Cappuccino Jones.
Did we?
Cappuccino Jones. They did a tag team match this past week. Yep.
Cappuccino.
He was in it's like a 7-6 man. Yep. 99. Your
Still
turn.
try to get in touch with him. We'll
That'd
see
be
if
so
we
fucking
can.
awesome. That'd be so fucking awesome. We had it. Where can they find you, sir?
So, like Tina was talking about, when it comes to my socials, it's either Rob Potchak, Rob Potsy Potchak, or when it comes to Twitter, it is Potchak without the Rob.
Without the Rob.
Yeah. Here on YouTube, obviously, you already talked about is Rob Potchak, Snapchat and all those, Rob Potsy Potchak. So yeah, you can find us on all of those. Folks, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Make sure that you put a comment somewhere on one of these things. We love doing this each and every week. We've had a great time tonight. Want to thank our specialty partner there tonight. Only One Veezy. You can find him on YouTube right now doing, I guess he's doing, what did he say? He's doing a
Video
MLB
games.
show and college football.
Yep.
Is that what he said? So he's doing videos for both of those. Folks, we'll be back next week. It's always a pleasure. Always having a fun time. Please nominate for Best Kids Book at the Ringo Awards. I'd love to actually see that we are not only represented, but that we're actually invited to Baltimore Comic-Con. I'll be, like I said, this Saturday, I will be at Triangle Town Center Mall at Fight or Flight Comics, doing my best to sit there and do sketches of your favorite comic book characters, but also signing the Keen Spot toy box. And folks, thanks so much. We are out of here. Tino, I don't even know who we've got on the outro. I think it's the Motor City Machine Guns, who put on one fucking hell of a 5-star, 6-star, 7-star performance during that match at the end of SmackDown this week, which absolutely blew me away. So, folks, thank you so much. And if you haven't watched it, watch at least the last 45 minutes of SmackDown. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Deuce.
Ready? ownership and contribute to the Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
That's right.
Thanks for watching.